Welcome to Celestial Dew, a space where we explore our inner world, where storytelling and spiritual tools deepen our connection to ourselves and the universe. My name is Rocio Celeste, and this is my soulmate and constant companion, Nuga Cósmico. We are here to share our experiences and open a space for insight and transformation. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin this journey inward. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about a topic that is very special for me, which is dance. Why is dance so special for me? Well, to share a little bit of my story with dance, it started when I was 6 years old. At that time, my parents had been divorced already, and I lived with my dad and my younger siblings. So my two younger siblings used to play and be outside all the time playing. For me, play was not an option. I had to be doing chores around the house, tending the house, making sure everything was clean and organized. And so I tried to be creative while I was cleaning, because I will get bored. At 6 years old, you get bored, like sweeping and mopping, and it's boring, it's tiring. And I remember once, we lived in a very gray place. It wasn't luxurious or anything, but it required a lot of work to keep it clean. And my dad had a TV that was really old. I remember some of the programs were still in black and white. And there was a show on TV on a particular day. There was a show where there was a dance contest. People were dancing, and there were judges scoring, giving them points as to who's the best one, who's going to win, so they could win a prize. They were dancing normally. And I remember having the broom in my hand, and I put it aside. I put it against the wall. And I started copying the people dancing freely. Oh, dance, dance. This is fun. It was very, very playful, very, very innocent. Then my dad walks by. He looks at me and he starts yelling at me. He tells me, stop doing that. That's for prostitutes. And I froze. I immediately felt like he caught me committing a crime. And I felt so ashamed and so guilty that I never wanted to dance again. I thought, okay, dancing is really bad. It's like a crime. And he caught me committing something really bad. I was dancing freely and playfully like any 6-year-old will do. But that moment when my dad came and he made that comment and he yelled at me and he scolded me and he treated me really bad, like I had done the worst thing in life, I associated dance with a crime or with something really horrible. And so I went my whole childhood without dancing, the rest of my adolescence without wanting to dance. I remember as I was older, having girlfriends, they always wanted to hang out and go dancing, but for me, dancing was no fun. Whenever they forced me, they will drag me to the dance floor. Come, let's all dance. Sometimes I would even cry. I would be so shy and so timid that I just sometimes I felt like I had to cry because I didn't want to dance. I never really thought about how much my dad's opinion and his comments had affected me. And I was very self-conscious when it came to dancing. When I was in college, in my university years, I never wanted to dance. Obviously, guys wanted to dance. If I dated someone, they thought dance was very romantic. Dance was an activity we could do. But for me, I would be like, no. I just never enjoyed it. For me, it was like a nightmare. It was more like an obligation, and I was horrible at it. I couldn't dance. Fast forward 20 something years later from that moment when I was dancing at 6 years old and I started my healing journey. The first time that I was exposed to dancing was when I went on a women's retreat on Gran Canaria, on the Canary Islands, and it was an all women's retreat where dance was involved. And the facilitator had us go one by one in the center of the circle and dance freely. There was someone playing the djembe and the drum, and people had to just watch and give compliments to the woman in the center. Obviously, I was the very last one. I thought I could get away with it. I didn't have to do the exercise. But then at the very end, I had talked about this problem with the facilitator, about my fear, my phobia of dancing. And I thought, oh, she was going to let me pass. She was going to let me get away with it. But she didn't. She looked at me until the end when everybody else had gone. And it's like, okay, it's your turn. She told me with her eyes. And with my eyes, I was begging her not to make me do it, not to force me to do it. She looked at me. And I remember taking really slow steps towards the center, very afraid, shaking. And as soon as I got to the center, all the women started giving me compliments, very beautiful compliments. And I remember started moving. And I'm like, oh, wow, I actually enjoy dancing, and dancing it's something very, very normal. There's nothing wrong with dance. So I started moving, and I was surprised to discover how good I was and how good it made me feel and how natural it came to me. So I danced for a couple of minutes, and then for the rest of the weekend, I was super sore. I was so sore from having danced that I had to stay in bed for 1 week. Surprising, like I didn't realize how many memories were stored in my body. That's when I started learning that memories are stored in our body, and until we release them and we heal them, they are going to remain there. Dance is a wonderful way to heal. And this is why I'm here sharing this with you today, because for me, dance is not only part of my essence, but it's, in my opinion, one of the most effective methods of healing, where we don't need to intake anything. We don't need anything external from ourselves. It's all in us. We connect to that energy of dance and we just move freely, and you will be surprised what your body can do when it works in collaboration with your soul. Obviously, that wasn't the only time when I was exposed to dance. A couple of months later, I went to another retreat in Spain, and it was a Tantra retreat for women, where dance was also involved. It was expected. And they had us dance. We were working in partners, and they had us dance. So my partner went first. She was dancing very freely and very comfortable. I admired her so much. She was so confident. She was so sure of what she was doing, dancing to the music and moving and turning and just so free. And I was standing there observing her, admiring her. Wow, so much confidence. Then when it was my turn, and she had to sit there and watch me dance for what was 10-15 minutes, I just stood there. And I remember she looked so bored that she started looking at all the other women in the room dancing, because that was more interesting than watching me dance or watching me stand there like a statue, because that's really what I was doing, just standing there like a frozen person. Then something really magical happened. I had a connection with one of my guides. It was like my guardian angel or a spiritual guide that appears like, okay, it's okay to dance. There's nothing wrong with it. Just move. Just move. And the music So there were two parts of the exercise. The first part was dancing in a sexy way, which obviously I couldn't do. That for me, that was like a sin. It was impossible. And then the second part was dancing more in a more sensual way. The music was playing in the background. Then little by little, I started dancing. I started moving my hands, then my leg. And I don't know how I surrendered. I said, okay, I'm going to give myself permission to do this. And I just danced freely as if no one was watching, as if no one had ever told me that dance was wrong. Dance is not for prostitutes. Dance is a way to connect, a way to meditate. And I had to remove that negative belief in myself, that belief that dancing was dirty, dancing was a sin, dancing was bad, because it's not. It's the meditation for women. And that day I discovered, wow, I just love dancing. I just dance. And at some point I looked at my partner and she was mesmerized. She was looking at me mesmerized, like she was looking at a goddess. And I just didn't care what she was thinking. I just danced freely and I was enjoying myself so much that when the music stopped, I was kind of sad that I had to stop dancing because I had discovered that I love dancing. Then when we sat down to share, she told me, well, we exchanged and I told her she was very confident and I wish I was as confident as she is. And she said, oh, that's interesting, the impression I give, because I'm not that confident. There's like a whole issue there with self-esteem and I have had to work on it, which I thought was interesting because compared to me, she was super confident and her self-esteem was pretty high. I was super insecure. I was super shy. I thought I was the ugliest person, the most incompetent person. And for me, dance was just like something I could never do, something I will never be able to do. But that day, I really enjoyed it. And something really interesting that she said to me when we were sharing after the exercise, she said, you dance so beautifully, you hypnotized me. It's like the way you move and the way your face and everything in you, your expression is just so wonderful. It's beautiful to watch you. And I was very surprised to find that out because I never thought that, for once, I was able to dance. Second of all, that someone will find that me dancing was a positive thing. Dancing is a very positive thing. It's not a negative thing. And that's something that I had to change in my programming, in my belief system. And so I went on, I continued doing women's retreats, whether it was Tantra, whether it was the Wild Woman retreat or a shamanic retreat for women where it involved dancing. The more I connected to dance, the more I realized that it was part of who I am. Dancing is part of me, part of my essence. And there were times when I will be here dancing by myself where I will be afraid. It's like, is someone watching? Am I doing something wrong? And then talking to one of my therapists, he told me, you're afraid of being happy. Okay, I had to work on that. It was that self-sabotage belief where, okay, no, you're not allowed to. You don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to enjoy life. Okay, I worked on that. And I went on doing my process all these years. And now I can tell that if there was one thing that I could choose for meditation, it's dance. With dance, we can express things that words are not able to express. We move, we say things that don't require words. Our soul speaks through our words. And I have done a couple of festivals where I just love the parts where we dance. And I take advantage of every single activity where dance is involved. And I just let myself enjoy life. I let myself dance because there's nothing wrong with dancing. I had to do a lot of work, very deep work, to remove that belief. Oh, dance is for prostitutes. And sometimes it still gets to me, but other times I say no. That's something that my dad had in him. And now that I think about it, it's basically every culture, every country in the world has some sort of dance. Every culture dances. It's part of society. It's part of being human, dancing. It's part of connecting with others, with society, with their tribes. Dance is a very powerful way of connecting with each other. Dance is powerful. And there are so many types of dance I have come to realize now. But the dance I'm talking about right now, it's the dance where you just move freely. There's no choreography, there are no steps, there's nobody telling you what to do, how to move, how many steps, right, left. No, this is just you dancing to the rhythm of the music, connecting your heart to the music and just dancing, letting your body express, letting your soul sing through your movement, and just express. You can express sadness, you can express joy, you can express excitement, grief through dance. I have done it. Sometimes when I'm sad or when I'm upset, I dance because I realize dancing also brings me back to my center. If something happens where I get disaligned, I get in an argument with someone because they got triggered by me, and then we get into an argument. It has happened, especially during retreats when we are all healing and then we get triggered. I trigger others and they trigger me, which is normal. It's part of the healing process. It's part of why we are there, especially when I have done inner child retreats. And so when I feel disempowered, when I feel like, oh my God, I need to come back to my center, what do? I dance. Barefoot. Dancing brings me back to my center, calls my power back. And today I'm here to invite you to dance freely. Play a song you really like, and just dance freely. As if no one is watching. Because dancing is a way of meditating, of connecting to the divine, connecting to source, connecting to the universe in you. Once I had an experience where I was having a very profound healing experience, and I saw all my cells in my body. I was in a very, very deep hypnosis, and I remember thinking and feeling, I'm never going to wish to die. I'm going to stop saying that I want to die. I went through a very dark period in my life when I didn't like life, and I thought, oh, maybe death is better, I'd rather die. I went through a very dark phase for a really, really long time, basically more than half of my life. And even though I had a lot of positive and wonderful experiences in my life, there were many times when I will wake up and I will be like, okay, God, why this life? Until I realized that thinking and feeling that way was really bad for my cells, because my cells listened to me and they got sad Our cells respond to what we think and to what we feel. And me thinking and desiring to die because life was hard, because life was sad and difficult, made my cells sad. For my cells, I was the universe. They don't know anything outside of me. So for your cells, you are the entire universe. For your cells, you are the whole universe. And they will listen and obey to everything you say and think and feel. And that one time when I was having that deep experience, and I came to realize and I said, no, I'm gonna quit saying that I want to die. I saw my cells as if I was looking through a microscope. And my cells were really sad. They were... The moment I said, I'm never again going to wish to die, my cells started lighting up. All the cells in my body, little by little. There were, before I said that, there were like 6 that were barely alive. And they were like this, as if they were drowning. Trying so hard to keep me not only alive, but healthy. When I saw that, I apologized to my cells. I said, I'm sorry. I never realized how much you did for me, how much you were struggling to keep me not only alive, but healthy. They were like this. Barely surviving. To keep me in a healthy state. To keep me going, doing all the wonderful things that I was doing in my life. And here I was, judging my life, not liking life. So the moment I said, I'm sorry, when I saw my cells really sad, I'm never going to wish to die again. All my cells, little by little, started waking up, lighting up, and they all started dancing. Dancing, dancing, dancing. And inside of me, it was a big party. In my universe, there was this party. And in that moment, I realized, wow, this is so wonderful. Our body is so wise, so beautiful, so intelligent that we need to acknowledge it for everything it does for us. And sometimes when life is really hard, when life is really difficult, and when we go through a lot of sadness in our life, it's not easy to think about dancing and feeling joyful when we have so many struggles, when we have so many things to deal with. But I invite you, if you are feeling like there's no exit, that you're really sad, that you have so many problems in your life, the last thing you want to think about is being happy and joyful and being happy and seeing the beauty of life and the wonder of life. I invite you to take a couple of minutes to connect to yourself, to come back to your center and try dancing. Dance for a little bit. See how it feels for you. Emotions might come up to the surface, and those emotions are messengers. They are appearing for a reason, to let you know what's inside of you, what's dwelling in you. And be grateful that it's showing up to tell you, hey, there's all this sadness in me that has been wanting to be seen. Or hey, there's all this joy that wants to be expressed. This playfulness energy. Give yourself permission to dance for 10 minutes a day. Whether in the morning, as your daily meditation, or during your break at work, or after work. If you have children, dance with your kids. Dance with your girlfriends. Make it part of your weekly routine or just by yourself. Explore. Try what works for you. You will be surprised what dance can do for you and what it can tell you. It's a wonderful messenger. We were dancing earlier outside, and that's why he's a little wet and a little dirty. And now I'm gonna go dance by myself. I'm gonna have someone record me a little bit. I wanna dance for you guys so you can see how good it feels to dance. Just to show you that you can just dance. It doesn't need to be perfect. There's no right or wrong way of dancing. It's just a matter of feeling the music, connecting to your heart and just feeling and moving and expressing. It's so wonderful. It's so beautiful. There's no judge there keeping score as to how good or how bad you are at dancing. I remember I was never able to dance at a party. At any celebration, I never danced. Until 4 years ago, when I went to that first retreat, exactly 4 years ago. It was the spring of 2021. And the women's retreat in Gran Canaria. Then later, the other retreat in Spain, a couple of weeks later. And then another one the summer after. And I went on participating in different women's retreats until I became so comfortable with dancing. And I realized this is part of who I am. I don't need to learn to dance. I just need to unlearn what I learned about dance. Which was, dancing is bad. Because it's not. Every culture in the world has dance as part of their traditions, as part of their celebrations. And if my dad made that comment, he had a different programming. But at 6-year-old that dances in an innocent way, it's not sinful. It was just him angry at life and throwing it at me. Once I mentioned that to one of my therapists, and she said, he's a little perverted. Because there's nothing wrong with dancing. Dancing is a way to show joy and to express happiness and what you're feeling. And people dance in circles and people dance by themselves. If he sees that dance is for prostitutes, especially a little girl dancing, it's just that he's not very aligned in himself, and that's a perverted side of him. That's the way she saw it. I don't know if that's the case, but that's the comment she gave me. And the moment she said it like that, I said, okay, maybe it's true. Maybe it was his perverted way of seeing things, of seeing life, of seeing a 6-year-old dancing. I was dancing innocently, playing, jumping. And now I give myself permission to dance the way I want. I have explored different types of dance, static dance, African dance, so many types of dances. But my favorite way is to dance freely. Just listen to a music and dance and move freely. And that's my meditation. So what I'm going to do now is go and dance for a little bit. I'm going to choose one song that I really like, dance to it, and hopefully I see you there on the other side.
A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. La luz se acerca reflejando la alegría, el viento sopla despertando un nuevo día, y la frescura en la montaña va llevando la esencia del picaflor que asciende enamorado. A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. La luz se acerca reflejando la alegría, el viento sopla despertando un nuevo día, y la frescura en la montaña va llevando la esencia de un picaflor que asciende enamorado. A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. A nuestro hogar llegó volando un colibrí dorado, quien trajo a nuestro altar un nuevo amanecer. La luz se acerca reflejando la alegría, el viento sopla despertando un nuevo día, y la frescura en la montaña va llevando la esencia del picaflor que asciende enamorado.
Okay, I'm back. I have been dancing for a little bit. I hope you got some inspiration, and I hope you enjoyed watching me. I actually enjoyed dancing, mainly for myself, but also knowing that I was going to share this with you. And this is an invitation for you to dance freely. If you're not used to dancing, if you're not used to doing sports or moving, this is an excellent way to start. And don't be surprised if you start feeling sore after dancing, because it will be memories being released from your body, memories that were stored, especially if you have experienced a lot of traumatic situations in your life. Dance is very healing. I know I keep stressing it, but it's a beautiful way of healing. Your body is so wise. So connect to dance. Even if it's just one song per day, choose one song and just move freely. There is no judgment. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you resonated with it, feel free to like it, subscribe, and pass this video to anyone who might benefit from this information. Me and Nuga Cosmico, we will be back with another episode with more ideas on how to connect to yourself, to your inner world, to the divine, to source, to the universe. And I hope you stay centered, you stay grounded, and you stay happy. Until next time.